Oh, hey, welcome to the upstairs. Today's lesson is going to be the next two responses. So each day that an independent choice novel reading has been due, you write a response. You wrote a cast of characters, and today you should have turned in your essence quotes, 3 pieces of evidence, and a justification as to why those quotes are the ones that I need to read to get the essence of your text. And now for both response 3 and 4, we're going to expand on that idea of essence and really start to push your creativity. So this is not due by the end of the block. You should be working on it for as much of the block as you can. Take those reasonable breaks. But if you only get one of the 4 sections of the assignment I'm about to show you done today, then you have still met my expectations for class. This is not due, what we're starting right now, until the entirety of the novel project is complete. All right, let's take a look at the instruction sheet.
Here we go. We are going to build our own museum called the American Text Museum. This museum will be an exploration that takes the essence that you found and makes it like a room that a visitor could walk through. So now that you are at 75% through, or whatever the goal you have set for yourself for today, you should be approaching expert on the text status. To challenge this expertise, you have been asked to create the exhibit for your text that will be housed in the new American Text Museum. Each exhibit will require knowledge of the text, knowledge of the principles that we have discussed surrounding the American dream, whatever that means to you, and your creativity. Each element of your exhibit will have its own set of instructions, so approach each of the below projects carefully, and you can do them in the order that you like. You could look for the one that's most interesting for you and start with that. Again, I'm suggesting that you pick off only one today, because there are 4, and we're going to do this for the next 2 days. Your first exhibit is an author biography. Your visitors will be greeted with a little overview of who your author is. You'll need to research your author and develop a 3 to 5 sentence biography. Pay special attention to the aspects of their biography that seem to you to be particularly American. Again, your definition. Or if you find moments in their life or philosophies that they have that might be inspiring to them and where their work came from, include those for sure. This is research, so you will need to cite it. To find this biography, a lot of these modern young adult authors are going to have their own website, so you can find their personal blog or business page. Amazon also has smaller biographies, but they're more in the PR style, but that will work. Or you could search their name on NPR to see if any of their works have ever been reviewed. Reviews often come with biographical snippets, and NPR is nice because it won't be behind a paywall. Then write your biography in the space for the exhibit. Exhibit 2, decorate. You're going to decide what goes on the walls when your visitor goes into the room. So find 2 works of art that would be placed in the room to match the theme and feel of your text. It has to be visual art, so sculpture, drawing, painting, or an installation. We will do audio art in the next one, but this one has to be something that your visitor will see. It also must be fine art, meaning There's a lot of deviant artists, Tumblr artists, ArtStation artists out there, but we're looking for something that a museum has actually determined to be of cultural value, curated, and put on the walls of their institution. So it needs to be real art, for lack of a better word. Under your picture, you're going to make sure to write 2 to 3 sentences that explains that connection between your art. All right, I accidentally scrolled past, but oh, I know what I was showing you, that there are 2 boxes for this one exhibit for each art. Now let's talk about where you are going to get your art. Now, in a perfect world, you would go to Art Store, which is a school database that allows you to search all of the fine art in human history, but that is usually only accessible when on the school Wi-Fi. I don't know if they have changed that. I haven't tested it, so that would be ideal, but it probably won't work. So instead, you could go to art museum web pages, who often put their collection online. So we'll go to the Smithsonian American Art Museum and show you an example of looking for language like explore art or browse arts by category. And when you go into there, you can even further filter. I suggest filtering because you might want to find something that matches the theme and feel of your text. So you might look for a category that matches the genre that you're reading, or if you can look for it, search for the year that an art was published and find art that was created or comments on the same time period that your book focuses on or was written during. So that's what it means when it says use filters to find artwork generated in the same style or time period as your independent reading text. So there's 2 more museums that I have linked, but there's so many more. It's ideal for this to be a work that, just like your text, is an American artist or captures a American concept. And just when you make the choice, think about what would look good on the walls of your room, your exhibit room. Exhibit 3, Immersion. You must decide what your exhibit will sound like. You will choose and record 3 passages from your text that will play on a loop for your visitors. I'm sure if you think about a museum visit that you've been on, you've been in a room that's making noise for effect. To create your sound files, you could use the voice recorder on your phone and then upload those MP3s to Google Drive, or I will make a Flipgrid available, whichever is easier for you. I'll find those recordings. For the exhibit, provide a 5 to 7 write-up that would be posted to the wall. So if you imagine your visitor goes into the room, they start hearing these passages, they could find a plaque on the wall that will explain what they are listening to and why. Like, why those clips? So as a problem-solving tool, think you have already chosen passages in response to 3 of them. So those might work, but you could find new ones. The what you are listening to and why write-up is graded on evidence of your knowledge of the text as a whole. So make sure to make it detailed. There should be context. Finally, Exhibit 4, make it alive. This is the showstopper exhibit, where you will design and write an interactive animatronic display of one of your text's major characters and figures, interacting with another American Dream major character / figure of your choice. And the directions will say this again, but I choose character / figure because you might be reading a historical novel or a nonfiction text, and for your American Dream character / figure, you could choose someone from literature or history. So if you've got a 1930s president that you want to animate for this, you can. You do want to pick a good character matching, a conversation that will be interesting, and get after some of the course concepts. You're going to be writing a 24-line show that will play when your visitors come over to watch this exhibit come to life. Now, when you're putting this together, think that 24 lines gives you some flexibility. It does not mean that you have to come up with 12 things that one character says and then 12 things that the other character says. Maybe one character gives a 23-line speech and the other provides a single-line reaction. That would follow the rules. You also want a conversation that brings out interesting information or exposes interesting ideas. But you can imagine all sorts of conversations that could do that. So maybe one character interviews the other because he or she wants to know why the other individual would make the decisions that they did, because the interviewer would not make those same decisions. It could be an argument over a concept, maybe about the definition of freedom or the definition of government. Maybe you'll have a couple characters that think differently. Or maybe you could take a modern character and have that modern character teach a character in the past, and that character in the past would have all sorts of questions. When you write your 24 lines, remember how a script is formed. I gave an example of Death of a Salesman, all caps, colon, and then the line. All right, so as I mentioned, the goal here is 1 for today. You will have today's block to work on it, and then if you think about doing a second entry during a homework session or skill session, the third exhibit you could do during our next class when the full novel is due, and that would leave one more to do in a homework or skills block time. So pick the exhibit that sounds interesting to you and get to work.